Okay, so for the next part of our celebration, you will need a small wooden person. And these are going to be being passed around church now. And in baskets. So if everyone in the church, there's enough for everyone to have one, take a small wooden person. We're going to need it a bit later on in the celebration. But if you are someone who finds it easier to do something while listening, can you decorate your small wooden person to look like you? There's pens at the back. You might have got some if you came in. So small wooden person, if it's easier to do something while listening, decorate this person to look like you. So today, we're going to think about 3 takeaway points. Hey. Thanks, guys. Thanks. The 3 points we can take away from this passage. Okay, can someone come and open up the first takeaway point for me? Yeah, up you come. This boy in the stripy top. Right, can you open it? Oh, sorry. Hold it up high so everyone can see. What does it say? Go. God uses his people. Thanks. Are you okay to hold that there for a second? Great.
Okay. So, have you ever thought about an alternative ending to a Bible story? It's actually a really fun game to play. So Naomi is in this hopeless situation. She's old, all her family are dead. She has nothing. And God could have turned around Naomi's situation in a lot of different ways. He could have sent tens of thousands of angels to come and meet her, and he could have sent food from heaven. He could have raised her family from the dead. And all of these things we read in the Bible in other places, but not here. Instead, he uses Ruth and the choice that she makes to go with Naomi. Honestly, I'm not sure if I was in Ruth's situation, which way I would have chosen. But through her choice, God brought a solution. And in the Bible, we read of this over and over again. God working through his people to bring about a miraculous solution. God sending Moses to Pharaoh to free the Israelites. God using Joseph to rescue the Egyptians from famine. Jesus using a boy's packed lunch to feed thousands. And even Jesus giving his disciples the commandment to us to go and spread the good news to every corner of his people. God working through his people. Because I truly, truly believe that God is far more interested in the process than the end result. In the process of making choices that honor God and that maybe can be a little bit scary, and we kind of lean into him. We need to trust him. We have to build relationship with him. And in Ruth choosing to go with Naomi in the process, she had to actively choose to trust the God of Israel, our God.
Okay, thank you. Are you okay to stay there a little bit longer while we get the second pizza box? Okay, second box. Who wants to come and open this one? Off you come. I go for the most enthusiastic. Right? I have to wait. If I see your hand, I'll shout at you. Okay, you going to open up this one? Okay, this one says, God can use anyone. Do you want to go and stand over beside this boy here? Brilliant, thank you. So Ruth is just a normal girl. She did not do anything special. In fact, she had absolutely nothing. She was a widow, which in those days meant that it was really hard for her. But God used her. I wonder what stops us thinking that God can use us. Is it our age? Do we think we're too young or too old for God to use? Is it that we don't think we have enough? We don't have enough money, or we don't have enough talents? Is it that we don't think we're good enough? Is it our gender? For years and years and years, I thought because I was a woman, I couldn't lead. But what we see here is that Ruth says yes to God. And yes to going with Naomi, and therefore God works out the rest. God is particularly great at taking very ordinary people and doing extraordinary things. Not because of who they are, but because of who He is. All God needs is us to say yes, to make the choice to choose Him, and He does the rest. Okay, final box. Okay, see everyone who's left. I'll come round the one box and you can all open it together. Coming? Great. 3. You coming in, Hannah? Just step over Caleb. It's fine. Ready? 3. Coming in. 2. 1. Open. Oh, what does it say?
We are God's gift to teach each other.
We are God's gift to each other. Great, you can come. This one's really heavy, so it's going to take a lot of people to hold. Okay? Hold this one up.
I'm sliding down the stage here.
See, I told you it was really heavy. There you are.
So God
hold up
used
the boxes.
Ruth. He used Ruth to rescue Naomi. And I truly believe that community and family, in the widest stretch of the word, is God's gift to His people on earth. And as church, we are family together. Jesus commands us, doesn't He, to love one another just as He loved us. In the Hebrew, the language the book of Ruth was originally written in, the word loyalty and love are virtually the same. In showing such loyalty to Naomi, Ruth was showing her deep, deep love. How are we being loyal? How are we loving one another? How are we making choices that uphold and lift our family up? Is it choosing to talk to someone who looks like they are struggling? Is it cooking a meal for someone? Is it hearing that prompt of God to post £10 through a letterbox? Maybe it's something smaller, maybe it's something bigger. But it's praying and it's sending a text to someone. It can be any and all of these things.
So, our 3 takeaway points from this story are: God uses His people. God so often works the miraculous through the people of God. God can use anyone. Turn to the person beside you and say, God can use you. Look them straight in the eye. Great. And we are God's gift to each other. Just as Ruth was God's gift to Naomi, God has not, if you're just here visiting or if you're a member of Trinity, it's not a mistake. We're called to be family to one another. We're called to have each other's backs. We're called to make those sacrificial choices that help each other and to be God's agents, theological term, on earth. We're called to be God's gift to each other. Great. Thank you, takeaway helpers. Can you pop down the pizza boxes? Whoop. Good holding. Okay. Now, is there any of those spare little people going about that I could have? I forgot to take one for me. Oh, thank you so much. If you go to the back, I'm sure they'll give you another one. Thanks. Okay. So we're going to do some talking to God about this now. And to do that, we're going to use these little people that you have, and you might have decorated to look like you. And we call this, I quite often call this chat and catch. And the reason I use this language is because prayer and listening to God are actually quite loaded terms for little people. Praying, you can have this idea of sit down, eyes closed, be still. But actually, I know that my best prayers to God happen while I'm driving. My best chatting to God happens while I'm washing the dishes. And listening to God, we don't just catch from God by hearing His voice, although some people hear from God like that, but sometimes words or pictures or feelings pop in our body. We catch what He has to say to us. So, if you've got a little one, why don't you hold them in close and get your little person? Okay? Do you want to grab our little person in close? Okay. And put this little wooden person in the palm of your hand. And if we could have the piano on, that would be great. Thank you. Now look at this little person and imagine it's you. Can you tell God something that you really love about the way He has made you? You can chat to God in your head or whisper in your hands. Tell God something that you love about the way He has made you. Okay, tell God if you would rather have a pet hippo or a pet giraffe, what pet you would prefer. Tell God. Tell Him in your head or whisper it in your hands. Now, can you chat to God and tell Him something that you find hard or scary? Maybe a reason that you think He might not use you because of. Something that you find hard or scary. Okay, now I want you to take your little person and I want you to blow on him. And as you do this, ask God to blow away anything you believe about about yourself that is untrue. Blow on your wooden person and ask God to blow away any lies that you believe. Some of you might need to do a really big blow. Okay, now ask God. Have a look at your little wooden person and imagine it's you. What is God's favourite thing about you? And ask God, and I want you to catch the first word that comes in your head. Because so often the first thought is the God thought. Ask God, what is your favourite thing about me? Okay, now with your wooden person, move him from one hand, or her, from one hand to the other. Tell God about a choice that you need to make. It might be a big choice about school or house or who to be friends with. Or it might be a little choice about what you really hope you're having for lunch. Tell God about those choices as you move your wooden person from hand to hand. And ask God to help you make wise choices. Okay. And you can take your little wooden person home. And sometimes it helps me to do things with my hands as I talk to God. So maybe you might want to try that later on today. Brilliant.